The league campaign got off to a bang here at Elland Road as the players managed to fight back to secure a point against the Bluebirds. But tonight we turn our attention to the Cup as the team look to build momentum in the opening week of the season. It's Matchday Live, it's the Carabao Cup, and it's Leeds United versus Shrewsbury. Welcome to Matchday Live here on LUTV, where we are bringing you all the build-up to every single game throughout the season, and we want you to get involved with the discussion. You'll see a WhatsApp number on the screen. Please feel free to send your questions, thoughts, pictures, photos, videos, whatever it may be within reason, to that WhatsApp number. And if you're on social media, please use the hashtag LUTV Live, and we will endeavour to reply to all of you, to answer all of you throughout the show. Now, I'm delighted to say that joining us for this game, we have a man who didn't really do much of note in cup tournaments. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? Jermaine Beckford, it is a pleasure to have you with us.
The pleasure's all mine.
How are you, love?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. Happy. I'm glad to be here with you in our lovely new studio.
I'm loving these positive vibes. And do you know what, in terms of those positive vibes, Bex, you spend a lot of time here at Elland Road, you speak to the lads. What do you make of the mood in camp at the minute?
It's positive. Look, it was a tricky start to the season. Started off 2 goals down, but look, the confidence and the belief in each other to have come from 2 goals down to come back to 2 apiece, and obviously not to have won, builds such team unity that is seething from every single one of the players. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we see today, what the players bring today, and it's going to be an exciting day.
Yeah, absolutely is. What have you made of Daniel Farke so far, his style of play?
I quite like it. He's very aggressive, winning the ball back quite high up the pitch, so there's not far to go in terms of getting an opportunity to shoot at goal. But dominating possession as well. He's done that really, really well so far in terms of how the players set up, the triangles that the players find themselves getting in. So as soon as one of the players get the ball left back, you'll see the left wing, the centre midfield players finding themselves in spaces where they can cause problems. And look, it's the first game of the season on Sunday just gone. There's naturally going to be a couple of areas that need improvement. However, the longer the season goes on and the more fit players we get back, we're going to start to see exactly what Daniel Farke wants to do and wants to achieve with this team. And it's going to be an exciting time, honestly.
Fingers crossed. In your experience, Bex, how long does that kind of bedding in period take in a season?
It could literally click overnight, genuinely. The more training you do on the pitch, the quicker you tend to see the results. So look, it could take a couple of weeks, it could take a month, but as soon as it does click, you'll start to see, you'll realise instantly, wow, hold on a minute, all those little things that the team were trying, now they're not getting them wrong. Every single player knows exactly where they're supposed to be at what particular time. And look, I don't know how long it's going to be. If I knew that, I would be doing the lottery every single week. But I've got every faith and every confidence in Daniel Farke. I'm really impressed with the way he handles himself in tricky situations when he's doing media. He's been asked 1 or 2 questions that have been really, on the cusp, but he's handled them very, very well. Very clever individual, well liked around the place as well. So yeah, it's looking positive.
Well, look, we'll talk about the team news very shortly, but before that, in terms of injuries, when you look at that bedding in system, that will kind of dictate that to a degree, won't it?
It will, and that's probably the only sticking point I see at the moment. There's a couple of key players. Liam Cooper obviously scored a great goal the other day, but then went down injured. Key players in vital areas that we need those players, those leaders. Unfortunately, when the main players, the the leaders of the pack are out, you have to kind of use fringe players to an extent, and those fringe players are going to take a little bit longer to bed in and understand exactly what's needed and how to play in a professional football setting. Sometimes with some of the young boys, Archie Gray for example, well, that's a bad example because he's fantastic.
But sees the opportunity.
He sees his opportunity, but a couple of the other boys haven't had the opportunity to play for the club just yet. So it's going to take them a little bit of time to get used to how the fans react to the opposition, the physicality, the speed, the tempo. So it will take a little bit longer.
Well, on Archie Gray and Ethan Ampadu, both of them starting again tonight, and that shows, doesn't it, just what an impression they made in that game against Cardiff.
They were brilliant, really, really good. Taking into account it's the first time they played together in a professional setting, I was so impressed. Archie Gray in particular, but both of them as a unit. I thought Archie handled himself phenomenally well. Taking into account it's his professional debut, his first start for the club. He didn't look phased at all whenever he picked the ball up. He was so calm under pressure. He didn't panic at all. I think apart from only possibly once, maybe twice, were the only 2 times he lost the ball. You know, the rest of the time he was. It's like he's been playing for years.
I mean, he comes from good genes, doesn't he? So
I mean, it doesn't hurt, does it?
Carl Darlow as well making his debut. He did say he's come to be number 1.
Yep.
Again, in terms of seizing those opportunities, he's going to feel he's got a real point to prove, isn't he?
Absolutely. Look, Carl Darlow is a very good goalkeeper. He's played for Newcastle and he's been promoted with Newcastle as well. He knows what it takes to get out of this division. He knows what it takes to be a number 1 as well. He's had a little bit of misfortune over the last couple of years, which is, you know, sometimes these things happen with goalkeepers, but there's no denying the fact that he is a very good goalkeeper. Now, I quite liked having new players coming in my position, because what that would do to me is make me step my game up and make me focus a little bit more and me try a little bit harder. And that's exactly what we're going to see with the competition between himself and Ilian. And who knows, you know, Meslier may even keep the number 1 jersey, but we'll see him step up and make and improve his game even more so.
Who knows, indeed. Right, well, we'll talk more about that shortly, but it feels like just yesterday that we were literally on the edge of our seats here at Ellen Road in that game against Cardiff. We'll discuss that in a minute, Bex, but first let's have a look at the best of the action from that game.
Welcome back. Ellen Road once more, full to the rafters. A new league it may be, a new journey begins. But Leeds United fans keep turning up in huge numbers to back their team. And Ayling, first time header into Nonto! Oh! Nonto's volley then just brushes the far post. Chance to pick out his cross. O'Dowda towards the penalty spot, still alive in the middle for Cardiff! And it's stabbed into the back of the net. And the opening goal of the game is scored by Josh Bowler on his debut for Cardiff City. O'Dowda found himself an acres down the left, and Cardiff capitalised. Leeds 0, Cardiff 1. Sinisterra plays it into Somerville. He shoots! Goalkeeper pushes it away from goal. Rolls the ball back and gets the return ball in the penalty area and tees it up for Aaron Ramsey. Turns goalwards and it's spinning and it's clear and it's in the back of the net. And it's turned in from close range. And Ugbo it is at the far post, who just helps the ball over the goal line. Ball curls in, Cooper! Liam Cooper rises and powers a header into the back of the net to give Leeds United hope. James with Sinisterra just to his right, goes into the penalty box to Nonto, skipping through, Nonto still going! And it drops on top of the net. And Leeds United, with some magic from Nonto, almost conjure up an equaliser. James in the box, holds off the challenge, shoots! Oh! Just pushed wide by the goalkeeper. As Somerville gets it back again, onto the edge of the penalty area, into the penalty area, long shot right across the face of goal. Ampadu back to Sinisterra. Again, Leeds just trying to work the position. Sinisterra shoots, and it comes for Somerville! Equalises for Leeds United! Drives it low and hard and finds the corner of the net. Referee calls time on the game, and that late goal from Crescencio Somerville ensures that Leeds at least take something from the opening game of the Championship season. A game they completely dominated, but still managed to fall 2 goals behind by half-time. Second half, Liam Cooper's header, and then right at the death, Somerville's shot means that the game finishes all square and the season starts with a point. Final scoreline here at Ellen Road. It's finished. Leeds United 2, Cardiff City 2.
Do not make life easy for ourselves at times, do we?
No, no, not at all.
As a former striker, how frustrating is it when you watch a game and you see so many missed chances?
Oh my gosh, honestly, it's the most frustrating situation for me to find myself in, because I'm kicking every ball, I'm heading every ball, I'm screaming at the television screen saying, get in this position, go in here, this is where the danger area is, or get a shot off nice and quick, or get in front of the defender. I see it happening in slow motion, and that's the thing that frustrates me the most, is not being able to be there helping firsthand.
Well, there's always a pair of boots available, remember that.
Where are they?
It was frustrating though, because we dominated possession and it felt like a goal was coming. You know, there were waves and waves of attack, particularly in that second half. So really the lads will have gone away, and you'd hope that between Sunday and now that is something they'll have been working on.
I definitely think so. Look, with it being the first game of the season, there's lots of areas for improvement. I like to think that we dominated possession really, really well, and that was a really positive sign. Defensively, there were areas that we needed to improve on, we needed to sharpen up on. Not losing track of attacking players, not drifting infield too early, not staying too wide too late. But also there were a lot of positives, you know, the physicality from the centre halves, the understanding of where the midfield players were, when to release the ball nice and early, when to slow the game down. So there's lots of good areas that I was impressed with. However, on the other side of it, there were also, as I mentioned, with it being the first game of the season, areas to improve on, which is always a good sign. Look, you dominate possession, you get lots of shots, lots of opportunities on goal. Unfortunately, don't put them away, but if you weren't creating the chances, that would be the moment where I would say, look, this is a problem. It's not a problem, you know, so that will come with time. Yeah,
I mean, that Liam Cooper goal as well, it was kind of bittersweet, that, wasn't it? It's a shame that we know he's going to be out for roughly kind of 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Brilliant way to open up the second half, but for him that must just be devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. But Liam Cooper's he's a captain for a reason, you know, so I feel for him. I wish him a speedy recovery and a full recovery. But that just shows what he's about, you know, the goal in itself. It was a great corner, and he attacked it with so much vigour and aggression and power and determination that it was only going to end up in one place, you know. So that was the good element. The bad part of it, obviously, the landing and whatever else happened after that. So he will still be there, and he'll still be leading the team. He was at the training ground, talking to all the young players especially, and just letting them know that this is where you need to be, this is what you need to do. Don't have him too early, too soon, drop off when you need to, etc. So although he's not on the pitch, he's still going to be a positive influence on the team.
And a voice of authority, which is brilliant really when you look at how much youth we have coming through. How pleased were you as well for Crescencio Somerville?
Oh, absolutely over the moon. I think he's been watching my YouTube clips, because I've scored 1 or 2 of those as well.
You're his inspiration.
I like to think so. No, I was absolutely buzzing for him, because I thought he played really well. The forward players are a constant threat, especially in this league as well. And the positive thing from that finish is it was purely instinctive. He was falling away from the ball, created a little bit of space between his body and where the ball was dropping, and caught it flush with his laces right into the bottom corner. It's a great finish, but a very difficult finish nonetheless.
We obviously saw as well, Nonto had a chance, Dan James shot just wide, and he was also offside. So like we said, so many opportunities and completely dominated possession, which I guess you're kind of expecting today in this game, aren't you, Bex? I
am. I'm expecting a lot of the same from the Cardiff game. However, I would expect a few more goals. But look, one of the most important things with scoring goals is if you don't shoot, you don't score. And
Correct.
I would like to see a few more shots on goal. We had a couple that were really good. This Willie Anonto one was lovely. I would have hoped he lifted it over the goalkeeper, up and over, but that's just me nitpicking. I think there's areas to continue doing the same things that we've been doing before, but I'm expecting to see a lot of similar ball domination, moving the ball. I want to move the ball a little bit quicker. I think that was an area that Cardiff felt quite comfortable in when we picked the ball up and we moved the ball side to side a little bit slowly, a little bit lethargic. If we pass the ball really snappily, we're going to cause a lot of issues, a lot of problems. So let's just see how we get on.
Well, like you say, that's obviously what Daniel Farke's going to have been working on in training between that game against Cardiff and tonight. Right, let's have a look at some of your WhatsApp questions. Now, I've got to ask you to stop calling us, right? Because it's there to send messages.
I can't answer the phone.
Jermaine Bedford is not going to pick up, okay? But thank you so much to everybody who has messaged us already. I'm going to put a few questions to you, okay?
Yep.
So Chris in Halifax has got in touch. He says, what did we learn about the way the team will play this season from that game?
I think aggressive on the front foot, get the ball forward nice and quickly and let the forward players really express themselves. We moved the ball really quickly, side to side. Like I said literally just a minute ago, I want to see the passing a little bit snappier, because the players we got up top, the forward 4 or 5 players, are so sharp in and out of possession that they will cause problems to any defence in this league, you know. So I would like to see that a little bit more.
Well, he also mentioned our defence. He says we got caught twice. How easy is that to rectify?
It's easy enough. It's easy enough, because all it is basically saying to the players, just watch the runners, don't dive in, and take your time. You know, make sure you tackle with the correct leg, don't overstretch the wrong way, and defensively, just be confident.
Wendy's got in touch from Spain. She's on holiday.
Hola!
Hola, Wendy. Hope you're having a lovely holiday. Wendy says, Bex, it's great to see you on TV.
Thanks.
I'm joking. She said, no, she did say it's great to see you on TV. She also says, all I was thinking on Sunday was how much you would probably have loved to have been playing up front in that game.
Oh, I would have loved it. The amount of opportunities and chances we created would have been absolutely perfect.
Just very quickly, we've got loads of your WhatsApps coming through, so we will try and get through them. Please do keep them coming in. The WhatsApp number is on the screen. But very quickly, we spoke about Archie Gray. What did you make of Ethan Ampadu's performance in that game against Cardiff?
Do you know what? So since pre-season, since his first appearance in pre-season, I've been really impressed with him. He's 22 years of age, I think, and he's so composed in and out of possession. But that comes with playing for the last couple of years. He's had a couple of loan spells overseas as well, which has helped him to understand how to play the game in a slightly different tempo, a different aggression. His passing ability is very smart. I like it. He keeps it simple when he needs to. He finds a through pass. He's actually not bad in front of goal as well. You know, he's got a decent shot on him. But he tends to adjust his body really well to figure out where the trouble is coming from, and drifts over and breaks up play really well. So I'm really impressed. I've been really impressed with what I've seen so far.
Yeah, well, he certainly seems to make an impression, and that is why LUTV put him under the spotlight this week. Bex is only 22 years of age, but full of experience. 40 caps for Wales, and like you said earlier, a very dynamic player, isn't he, Ethan Ampadu?
Yeah, he is. You saw in the clips there, he breaks up play really well. He's very positive in his movement as well, which is he's advanced beyond his years. But that comes with playing international football 40 times, I think you said, for Wales, playing overseas as well, starting off at Chelsea. So I've been impressed. But I want to see, obviously, consistency throughout the course of the season. But with that consistency will come growth as well, and he'll turn into a completely different type of animal.
Let's just turn our attention to the opposition tonight in Shrewsbury Town.
Yep.
They finished 12th in League One last season. They won 1-0 last weekend. For them, this is kind of a win-win situation in many ways, isn't it, this game?
Yeah, it is. Look, you go into any game as the underdogs and there's no pressure on you. Nobody's expecting them to win. Nobody's expecting them to dominate the ball. Nobody's expecting very much from them. So if they come here and just enjoy themselves and express themselves the way they want to with no pressure, that's when you'll see them enjoying themselves. And when teams enjoy themselves, that's when they usually have success. However, everybody knows what it's like when you're playing at Ellen Road. This place is an absolute fortress. When the lights are on, the crowd are right behind you, the players are giving the fans something to cheer about as well. It's so difficult to play here and play against. So it will be an extremely difficult opportunity for them to come here and get anything. However, as long as we do the simple things well and don't give away any silly chances, silly opportunities, it should be, fingers crossed, a nice day at the office, so to speak.
And also don't get complacent, which I know this team are not normally guilty of, but it's really important, isn't it, in games like this?
Yeah, absolutely. But Daniel Farke is one of those managers who won't allow complacency to creep in. Like we saw it while he was at Norwich. He's been promoted twice, and the teams that Daniel had during that time, he didn't give them an opportunity to be complacent. Every single game he approached it as if it was the cup final. And that's exactly what he's going to be expecting to see today.
Absolutely. Well, we are getting bombarded with WhatsApp messages, so thank you so much. Like I say, we are going to try our best to get through them all. Bex, Kira is joining us tonight from Glasgow. Hi, Kira. She says, how do you avoid complacency? I mean, it's like we predicted that question already. So there you go, Kira. That one was especially for you. Russ, he's watching in South Yorkshire. Hi, Russ. He says, which player impressed you the most against Cardiff, Bex?
Definitely Archie Gray, but obviously Ethan as well. Apart from those two, I think it was a really good all-round performance with a few minor exceptions, a couple of crinkles that need ironing out. But apart from that, I thought it was a pretty good game.
Neil in Wakey's also got in touch. He says, your thoughts, Bex, on Pervader making a comeback?
I like it. From what I've seen so far in pre-season, he looks like he's come back determined and really focused, knuckled down on his fitness, on his strength work. And we all know that he's very clever when he's got the ball. He's very neat and tidy, nimble when he's dribbling in and out of defenders. Again, consistency is what we're looking for from Pervader, but that will only come with minutes. So as long as we get minutes and he stays injury-free, I think we'll see a very good player.
Emma from the LUTV studio, also here. Hi.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Bex. Nice to join you.
I was looking over there thinking it was one of these lot.
Based on what you saw in that performance against Cardiff, I know we've asked you kind of what you're expecting from the team this season, but when we get to the end of the season, what are you expecting? Because we can't help but speculate. Well, that's the thing. When you've been relegated, the assumption is, well, you are one of the most likely to go straight back up again. Yeah. But how do you deal with that pressure?
Do you know what? It's not always as easy as that, because Leeds United is such a massive football club with humongous history, and the stadium is world renowned, right? So teams are going to come here and treat it like it's their FA Cup final every single game, which is where the complacency issue comes into play, and treating every game as if it's the last game. So it's going to be exactly that.
Well, Beckford, kickoff is fast approaching. Very quickly, in a word, score prediction.
I'm going to say 3-0
to
Leeds United.
Thank you.
Yes.
Clarification. We'll be watching this first half together, but right now let's hand you over to your commentary team, Tony Dorigo and Bryn Law. But before that, let's get the thoughts of the man who's making his debut here at Ellen Road this evening. Here's Carl Darlow.
Carl, looking forward to the debut.
Yeah, I can't wait. Obviously been here about a week now and training with the lads. got to witness the atmosphere obviously on Sunday, and expecting and hoping more of the same tonight from the fans.
And from your own point of view, this is your chance to do what you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think for me, I want to play football, and I think that's any player, any professional player strives to play at the top of the game on a match day. So yeah, excited to get going, and hopefully it all goes well.
What's the significance of tonight's game then?
For us, we just need to get through to the next round. That's all it is. We know it's the first round, and we want to get through and we want to progress as far as possible in this competition. We have the league as well, so we want to do as well as we can in both competitions.
Lots of the minnows went through last night, didn't they? You want to avoid that for sure, don't you?
Yeah, of course. I think every season in this cup is the same. You know what to expect if you're the club that are higher in the table, are obviously a bigger scout for the teams that are coming here. So we know we need to guard against that. We need to be professional and make sure we deliver a performance.